What's up, guys? Tommie Bennett here, and in today's video, we're gonna find out why I love Camber snowboards. So when it comes to snowboard profiles, my go-to is gonna be a camber. A traditional camber at that. Now, my biggest reason why is I like the versatility in the performance I get from my snowboard. Now, my goal is to have one snowboard do as many different things as possible, which includes hitting big jumps, hitting some side hits, carving, going fast, and overall, just having a great time. Now, there are some disadvantages, which we'll talk about here in a second, but before we do that, we're gonna go over my top 5 reasons why I absolutely love camber. When it comes to camber snowboards, my number one reason why I love it is the stability that I get from the board. Now that stability comes in place when I'm mobbing down the mountain and I'm going fast. Well, I know my board is gonna be able to grip and rip the snow. Now let's say that I'm going off of a big jump. I know that the more pressure I put into that board, the more my snowboard is going to be able to handle that pressure, especially as we're going fast off big jumps. Now, when you have like a reverse camber board, your board can be a lot more wobbly and unstable. So when I'm going off of a jump, it can be way less predictable, or you apply those pressures and it can't handle it. So as a safety standpoint on bigger jumps, I love the stability and the predictability of a camber board. And then in addition to that, as you're riding around, maybe even in the summer or in the spring or in a choppy, crazy pow day, a camber board is a lot more stable and it's actually gonna plow through the conditions and be able to keep your balance more times than not. Reason number 2 I love camber boards is because when you accidentally, unintentionally land a little bit more in the back seat, your camber board is fighting to get back to flat. And you can see it in this video here. As I go back on my tail, the nose of the snowboard wants to dump back down, which allows me to stay on my feet. When you have other board profiles, what tends to happen is you apply a lot of pressure to the tail and it cannot handle that pressure and it just spits out and you fall. So I actually land more tricks because I have a camber board because it gives me more room for error. If I'm slightly in the back seat a little bit too much, that's okay because my board's gonna be there to help out. Obviously, I want to land bolts, but sometimes you're just, you make a mistake and you're not there. So if I can land kind of relatively close and have my board help me, it's definitely a good option.
Hey, Maddie. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah? Did you eat any bugs today?
Not yet.
Why not?
No one offered me $1.
What if I offer you $2?
Okay.
What kind of bug you gonna eat?
Any.
Any bug for $2. You all heard it here, folks.
Bullet point number 3 is how much pop and power you can generate out of your snowboard. Now this comes into plays in 2 different factors, which would be when I'm carving, I can put a lot of power into that and I can spring out of a carve because it can handle that pressure. But if I'm hitting jumps or I'm hitting side hits or I'm olling, again, I can put a lot of pressure into the board and it can help spring me up in the air so that I can go way bigger because my board is helping me and I find a good balance of my combination of my body performance and the board performance, and I can go way bigger, which gives me more time in the air, gives me more opportunity to stay in control or do bigger and more awesome tricks because I have the ability to go bigger safely while sending it. Bullet point number 4 is how a camber snowboard can handle so many different conditions. Let's say that it's a gnarly springtime day where your board is going to be able to plow through the snow, and then if it's an icy day, it's going to be able to help grip and rip on your turns. And if you're riding park, or it's firm, man-made, soft, whatever the conditions are, what's cool about camber is it's going to give you control, plow through it, and give you power. And then I just get to bring one board to the mountain every single day, and we'll be talking about one disadvantage here in a second. And bullet point number 5 is how camber snowboards are so universal. You can do so many different things. If I'm riding the beginner hill and I just want to do some basic turns, I can absolutely do that. If I want to fly 70 miles an hour down the mountain, I'm going to have a lot more stability. And if I want to go hit jumps, big or small, camber profiles are going to allow you to have just the most amount of versatility in my eyes, especially as I put more power into the board's going to be able to handle it. Now, as a little asterisk to that, of course, we're going to have different variances in our stiffnesses, but overall, our camber board is going to be awesome. Now, I feel like one of the biggest downsides to a camber snowboard is when you're riding POW, essentially your camber snowboard wants to be like a submarine and it wants to dive down. So when you're in POW, the nose of your board naturally wants to dip under the POW. So you have to retract your lead knee. You have to lean really far back, and that can be really tiring if you're sending a lot of POW. So on a POW day, I still ride camber because it's fun and I just want to bring one board to the hill. Now, if I were to go to Japan and there's insane amount of POW, I would probably elect for a POW specific board or a reverse camber board, because a reverse camber board naturally wants to lift up. It's gonna be better on those kind of days. Now, I will be making a completely different video and getting nerdy about each of the profiles and what they are most optimized for. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because we get super nerdy here, and give this video a like if you find any value in it. And of course, share it with a friend, because if we can grow this community and make more snowboarders awesome, we're gonna make more snowboarders awesome. So on that note, guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Nothing but love. We out.